Preparing XRF samples using pressed pellets, presented by Group 1. X-ray fluorescence is a non-destructive analytical method that is used to identify the elemental composition of materials. XRF is also a great technology for qualitative and quantitative examination of material composition since each element in a sample emits a distinct collection of characteristic fluorescent X-rays, which is called a fingerprint. For XRF, there are different types of sample preparations, and we will be focusing on pressed pellets today. Step 1. Select a suitable press for the sample. Different press model has a different sufficient pressing duration and force for smooth pressing operation. Then, select a pressing die. It can be classified into with rings or without rings. Different diameter pressing die has different maximum pressing force for different design according to the press we are using. After that, grind the sample to achieve a grain size of less than 100 micrometers. Different sample requires different type of equipment. For example, jaw crusher, mortar grinder and ball mill are used to grind a hard and brittle materials. After grinding, the necessary amount of sample is weighed using analytical balance. Binding materials is added to hold the sample together. The binder homogenize with the sample during grinding and recrystallize under pressure to bind the sample together. Thus, the correct ratio of binder must be added to avoid dilution errors. Next, sample and binder are homogeneously mixed to ensure a mechanically stable pressed pellet. They can be mixed manually in a mortar with a pestle or automatically using an electric mixer. The mixing process ensures the binding material is evenly distributed throughout the entire sample. After that, the pressing die was assembled. First, the pressing die sleeve is placed onto the bottom pressing rod. Then, the first support plate is placed into the housing, followed by the sample powder, and place the second support plate on top. Before that, make sure the polished sides face the sample. Finally, the plunger is placed into the die and the entire pressing die is placed into the press, and proceed with the pressing process. After placing the pressing die into the press spindle is lowered until it touches the pestle and can no longer be lowered by hand. Then, start the pressing process. Pressure is built up during pressing and it can be performed manually using a lever or automatically until the required pressure is reached. When the pressing process is finished, the die is removed from the press. Then, carefully lower the spindle by hand until the pressed pellet is pressed out of the die. Suction tool is recommended to easily and cleanly remove it from the pressing die. From XRF result, the composition of the element present in the material is analyzed. Here is an example of pressed pellet process. In short, pressed pellets are cost-effective, convenient, deliver better results, and have greater consistency as it produces homogeneous samples for XRF analysis. Lastly, you may have a look on the case study of a fired pressed pellet. From the results obtained, the fired pressed pellet is the most practical and precise approach for sample preparation of raw clays. Thank you for watching.